Hey, good morning, BookTube. Today I'm doing something that's a little unusual. I am doing a haul video, but I'm doing a haul from my mom's Unhaul. She's moving. She wanted to get rid of some books and purge some of her stuff, and so I told her I would be happy to take all of her Unhaul books to the library to donate, and so we loaded them all up in shopping bags, and they're all in my car, and then was going to take them today, and I happened to kind of be rifling through a little bit, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute, I want some of these, and I know she'd be thrilled for me to have them. When she watches this, she'll see it, that I took some of your books, Mom. So I'm just going to go through them in the bag and talk about them for 1 second each, give or take, and let you see what I've chosen. So here we go. All right, the first author that I have in my bag is somebody that you probably don't like. Conventional wisdom says he's a jerk, he's a curmudgeon, he hates the internet, he says dumb things, but I still like his books, and I really like these two novels in particular, The Corrections and Freedom by Jonathan Franzen. Yay! I will read these again, so these are nice hardback editions. They might even be first editions. Not sure, but they'll fit right on my shelf, so yay. Next, we have the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. That is a mouthful. I do not like the title of this book, but I like the book. I think it's just a charming, romantic, warm-feeling book that also has a little bit of the horrors of what World War II was like for some people that were stranded on an island and occupied by Germany for a time during the war on Guernsey. I knew nothing about this history, so even if it's just slightly historic, I just thought the characters are charming. It's all written in letters. And I haven't watched the Netflix version of this yet, but I am due to do so at some point. I am due to do so. That's really great. All right. Next, I have Margaret Atwood, A Cat's Eye. This is a first edition paperback. I've read this at least 3 times since it was published. I think it's a great novel about women's issues, women's psychology, or just psychology in general, but what it's like to be an artist in a land of conventionality, the betrayal of friendships, the harshness of children. There's a lot here, a lot to unpack. It was a good book club book, and so yeah, I'm glad to have this. I have Ian McEwan's Saturday. I know I read this for book club several years ago. It made me cry at a Panera, so that says something. It was really good. I want to have a copy. Here I have Marcel Proust, Swan's Way. I have a couple other versions of this book. I'd like to read it again. I'd like to read all of them. I don't know if I'll ever get to them all, but it could happen. I keep crossing my fingers. Jane Smiley, Good Faith. Do you love a good real estate novel? Because that's what this is. I listened to the audiobook probably a decade ago or more, maybe 15 years ago. I thought it was a really good character study. There were parts that were very funny, and you know Jane Smiley, she's all over the place in terms of tone, and if the book is a comedy or a tragedy, and this one I think is definitely a comedy. I'd like to read it again. And speaking of old Jane Smiley, and not necessarily any comedy in these two novellas, Ordinary Love and Goodwill, I think this was the first Jane Smiley I ever read, and it stuck with me. When I was pregnant, I was reading The Age of Grief, which was another novella, and my OB said, you know, maybe you should read something a little lighter, and I said no. Anthony Trollope. I've been collecting Anthony Trollope. I have not read Anthony Trollope. I think I was motivated by Steve Donahue when he was doing a Trollop read along, which I did not participate in, but I did watch the videos, and that episode made me want to collect some Anthony Trollope. So maybe in 2019 we'll see what happens. This was a very popular book when it came out, The Alienist by Caleb Carr. Here we have a first edition of Beloved by Toni Morrison. I have other versions of this and have read it a few times, but I was happy to see a first edition, and I thought I didn't want to give that away. And finally, if you like books about writers and the writing life and gossip and celebrities and the 1900s back in the day, Truman Capote. It's an oral biography by George Plimpton in which various friends, enemies, acquaintances, and detractors recall his turbulent career. I read this and loved it. It stuck with me, and I'm glad to see it here in my hands. Nice picture of a very handsome, dapper Truman Capote. Here's another one of the author, George Plimpton, also looking dapper with his sweater slung casually over his shoulder. They don't make author photos like this anymore, do they? So I'm going to go through these over the years and reread them, or just enjoy looking at them on my bookshelf with their twins that I might have copies of. I was so lucky to be raised by a woman who loved to read, and I love to read, and I've passed it on to my kids. So yay, Mom, thank you, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching, and see you later. Bye.